Thank you. I'm Greg Reilly, International Fund for Animal Welfare. I'd like to start out just by saying thank you. Thank you to all of you and everyone like you that lends your talents and your diligence and your passion to keeping this world full of wonder. I appreciate it, and I'm very grateful to be a small part of it. This project is a small part of it too, leveraging AIS to alert vessels in near real time. Currently, we do, of course, disseminate information to mariners and the general public and throughout, but we do it with traditional methods, which I call pull methods, right? Someone has to go and seek the information out, and it's a natural evolution to move to push technology, so where we can automatically get that information out to someone who can take an action and as close to real time as possible that might prevent a vessel strike. And this can be done and is about to be done this season. With the Motion Info AIS project, AIS, Automatic Identification System, is a industry standard for the past 20 years. It has been industry standard on commercial vessels. It is required in the United States to be carried on all commercial vessels 65 feet and up. That aligns with the vessel speed rule, which requires those vessels to slow to 10 knots in the seasonal and dynamic management areas unless there's a legitimate navigational safety issue. AIS is a collision avoidance system, and it has been used for that for a long time. What has not happened is the use of coastal stations, and in this instance, the use of coastal stations to prevent collisions not between vessels, but between vessels and animals. These coastal stations, the box you see at the top there, contains all the electronics for a station, and it's hooked to an antenna and regular 110-volt power for remote installations, a solar panel, and a cellular modem is added. But it's a very, very lightweight installation at a location. All of these locations are networked back to a central computer that controls all of them. That computer has the ability to geofence areas, so the seasonal, the dynamic management areas, and really any other geofence that the system is told to establish, and then uses protocols to decide what messages are sent out to vessels. So it sends out text messages, short text messages. There's a character limit, so it's a kind of similar to tweeting or texting a vessel, but they can also get navigation data directly to their integrated navigation system. So especially big ships have electronic chart display systems on the bridge, which integrates all of their electronics into one large display. AIS can be used to add data to that system so they can actually see a geofenced regulated area, or perhaps, hopefully, in the future, actual or recent whale presence. The system is integrated in with Conserve.io's backend database, the database that feeds Whale Alert, aggregates as much data as we have, and then that is connected to this system, giving the system capability to also alert of whale presence and not just regulated areas. This time last year, we had 0 stations, sort of. We had 1 station at Tybee Island Marine Science Center as our first station keeper. And we had 2 stations in Cape Cod that were used in a limited test. But we had 0 that were permitted by the Coast Guard, licensed by the FCC, installed, and operational. That number today is 50. That's what we're going into the next season with is 50. Those 50 are not all funded. We'll talk more about that, but funding is still a huge, huge gap. that is the biggest challenge with a lot of these types of efforts. As Mark pointed out, we can't always wait for politics to catch up with what's really needed to be done. Sometimes we need to move ahead and hope that they catch up. This is one of those times when we first got involved, when IFAW first got involved in this project, we assumed that it would be a federal project. It's spans multiple states all across the eastern seaboard. It is tied specifically to a regulation. It makes sense. And it's also a system that could be used for a whole host of other things besides right whale protections. Any safety and security incident on the water could be communicated with this kind of system. So for all kinds of reasons, it makes sense for it to be a federal project. But as we all know, you have to deal with the reality you live in, whether you like it or not. And here we are. But we've still made substantial progress, mostly due to the dedication of the project of Moses Caloro, who's up there. And if you don't know Moses, please get to know him. Moses, with or without funding, has been moving forward, putting stations up across from Florida to Maine. We evaluated it in collaboration with Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary. Not really 23, it was really 24, but it was that 23-24 season at the end of it, a limited test. And they saw that even though it was very small test sample, 83% of vessels slowed down. Southeast evaluation occurred this year with a couple of stations up and running in the Southeast. University of South Carolina, Dr. Erin Meyer-Gutbrod, thank you, lent her talents to evaluating that data. It's a very different area, navigationally wise. Also, the duration or the frequency of messaging was a little different. There were a number of differences that happened in the test. Still had very encouraging results with over half of vessels given an overspeed message saying, hey, you are overspeed, potentially violating a regulation. Over half of those vessels immediately slowed and remained compliant. So we had a massive reaction in a very compliant area, Cape Cod, and we had, I still think, a very, very promising reaction to the system in the Southeast, which has seen much lower compliance rates. Yes. None of this happens without diverse stakeholder input. Our federal partners, our state partners, especially Georgia and Florida, fundraising by IFAW through donors and also grant applications, National Marine Sanctuary Foundation and Georgia Conservancy. We had industry input from the Waves group. Our station keepers are volunteer hosts of these systems. Many of them have turned out to be lighthouses. We have 30 lighthouses signed up. Just 9 of those lighthouses have over 600,000 visitors. Some of the other locations are marine science centers such as Tybee. All of these provide excellent opportunities not just to direct message these vessels, which is the greatest outreach we can do, but the second best outreach we can do is getting it to the general public so these visitors that visit these areas can see the system work through displays that we are in development. Also, what's come out of this that we didn't really foresee was the amount of industry engagement other than Motion Info that has jumped in, including standardized messaging from the National Marine Electronics Association and companies like Garmin messaging directly to their onboard systems. And I'll wrap it up. Thank you very much.